Hello folks, welcome back to my channel. This is Goosebumps Dude, and today I have another Goosebumps book review for you, and this time we'll be reviewing the third book from OG62 called Monster Blood. Now the front cover is pretty interesting, so you basically have the stairway, and it looks pretty dark, especially the top of the stairs, bathed in that sort of dark blue light. And of course, the bottom of the stairs has some light in it, so you can see it looks red, right? It is bathed in red, and you have some kind of a green liquid pouring out, oozing out, and some glasses there, and it's all green, right? So it is actually, it seems that, this is what Monster Blood is, right? And you might be right, you might be wrong. I don't want to spoil the book for you. But basically, this story is about a main character named Evan Ross, who's a 12-year-old kid, and basically his mother, who has to fly off to Atlanta, Georgia, is going to leave him, with his aunt Catherine, who is basically completely deaf, who can't hear anything, and she doesn't want to learn sign language nor, lip reading. So basically, yes, it's gonna be a tough one for Evan, especially since she seems to be laughing at her own jokes. She's a pretty eccentric, as it says here on the Goosebumps fandom website. So she's pretty, yeah. The first time she sees him, she's holding that butcher knife, so she scares the daylights out of him. And yeah, she's pretty terrifying. She's a scary old lady, even though she's really old. She's like 80 years old. But yeah, Evan also has this dog named Trigger, and basically he takes his dog with him to his aunt's, but he doesn't make a very good impression on her, and he ends up getting grounded, so to speak, in a way, because Evan has to leave his dog in some kind of a pen right outside. And yeah, so Catherine has a cat named Sarah Beth, a black cat, right? And it seems to be basically, yeah, it's pretty. I guess it gets a little into trouble with Evan in a way, even though it's just a cat. But you know how Goosebumps books are sometimes a little wacky, a little scary. Now I love cats, so I don't necessarily agree with this whole kind of depiction of cats in movies and TV shows. But basically, yes. Yeah, so Evan is gonna be basically at some point, walking outside, checking out the neighborhood, and he's gonna meet that girl named Andrea, and who's nicknamed Andy for shorts, right? So basically, the two of them are gonna, kind of hit it off. They're gonna become fast friends very quickly, and then they're gonna go to that store, which is like a toy store, and in there Evan is gonna stumble upon this a can of something called Monster Blood. So he's gonna decide to buy it since he might be, since this might be cool. At first, the store owner doesn't want to sell it to him because it has some. It's like in the back storeroom or something like that. So he's reluctant at first, but then he decides to, just sell it to him for a low cost, a low price, whatever. So he decides to take it with him home, and there he's gonna find out that this Monster Blood thing has some, you know, there's something to it. Like for instance, it grows and grows and grows until it basically, at some point they have to keep it. They have to store it somewhere because it's just it's it's kind of getting out of hand, And at some point, yeah, his dog Trigger is gonna eat some of it. And needless to say, something is going to happen, right? But I don't want to spoil the book too much or anything because I want you to find out for yourselves what happens with this Monster Blood thing and how it all, where it all goes. Now, Monster Blood is a pretty good story. I liked the friendship between Evan and Andy, which is going to be one of the best kind of friendships in Goosebumps. Now, of course, there are sequels to this Monster Blood book. There's part 2, 3, and 4. And this is the first one. This is the one that started it all, so to speak. But I thought it was pretty good. Not great in the sense that it's the two previous ones were a little bit better, but this one is pretty nice, especially with Evan as our main character. It's pretty cool, and Andy. I believe that they were the best, in the story, the best elements, the best assets. And yeah, the end is not very likable, to be honest with you. But as the story draws to a close, to an end, you're gonna find out for yourselves, the truth. And obviously, her character, considering, wasn't all that bad. But yeah, this was a pretty nice story. If I were to rate this book on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd probably give it 6.5 out of 10. It might sound a little, I don't know, a little. It's pretty good. Don't get me wrong. It's just yeah, it's the beginning maybe it drags on a little bit. It's hard to get into, but as you go on, it gets interesting. It gets more interesting as you go on. So if you're struggling a little bit with the first few chapters, don't give up. Keep going, and it gets much better as you go on. Especially with the when he meets Andy, I believe this is when the story really kind of kicks it off, takes it up a notch, and off you go. So yeah, 6.5 out of 10 for me for this book, Monster Blood. Pretty good story, pretty good development, character development, and that's a good one. So if you haven't read Monster Blood, I definitely recommend it for you. It's not difficult to read. It goes by, and the twist is pretty wacky. I didn't speak about it because on purpose. I don't want to spoil, but the final twist is wacky. So yeah, 6.5 out of 10 for me for this story, for this book, for this novel, Monster Blood, for this first book of the series, Monster Blood, to come. What about you folks? What did you think about Monster Blood? Those who have read it, did you like it? Did you hate it? Please share your thoughts and comments below. I would really like to hear about it, and it's a pretty nice thing, to be able to exchange on these books. Thank you, and I guess this is pretty much it for that review. So I'll see you, God willing, soon, next week, God willing, for another Goosebumps book review. In the meantime, folks, stay safe, goodbye, take care. This is Goosebumps Dude, the Goosebumps Dude, signing it off.